Top of the morning to you, the afternoon and the evening. I'm Dolly Chacon with You Inspire Network, and I'm here today with my friend Reese.
How are you?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, you look
Thank
great.
you.
You look
Thank you.
absolutely good. I see the light of God beaming through you.
Praise God.
And this woman of God is doing great and mighty things throughout the nation that we're going to share with you today. Reese is the founder and president of Salt and Light Council and focuses on reactivating the church as a positive influence and witness for our Christian values in the government and in media and education. She has trained and equipped the church affiliate leaders in 26 states to lead Salt and Light Biblical Citizenship Ministries. And she supplies a turnkey, sustainable ministry with legal support provided by the Liberty Council. I like the Liberty Council.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt Staver. I'm saying that correctly? Okay. Who is also chairman of the Salt and Light Council Board. Under Dran's leadership, Salt and Light Council has also developed the Content of Character series, which you're going to be sharing with us in a little bit.
Yes.
Well, welcome. So glad you said yes. And stay tuned. Don't go away. Don't go get water or anything else. Be still and listen to what God wants to share through your daughter.
Great.
Go right ahead, dear. What do you want to share with us about Salt and Light Council?
Well, I would like for people to know what the Salt and Light Council is. Mm-hmm. Salt and Light Council is a biblical citizenship ministry that is set up and equipped strictly for the church, but it can also be used in the community as well. So for your listeners, those of you that go to church, this is a great opportunity for you to get involved. And one of the ways you get involved is by going to your pastor and asking him if he would like to be salt and light in the culture and to start a Salt and Light Biblical Citizenship Ministry. And it's a real exciting ministry because it's fun, it's encouraging, and it allows people to get involved in all the issues that are going on in America. And now you're on the cutting edge of it. Now you know what's going on. You're not asking questions. You're not puzzling out what's wrong with America because now you know what the strategy and the plan is, and you have the solutions for how to fix it.
Well, that's a very good point. Many are complaining about what's not right in our government. And, the Lord said that the government is on his shoulders. We are in him. And so therefore we should be paying attention to the government. Is that right?
It's very right.
Yeah.
We need, as citizens of the church or just citizens in general, we need to be involved in government because government is our responsibility. And when we shirk that responsibility and we don't get involved, then somebody else takes over the government. And that's exactly what's happened in our culture, is that bad people are now in office. When we started this country, when it was founded with our founding fathers, these were true men of God. We had 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence, and every single one of them understood the Bible and the importance of that in culture.
Okay. Well, I wanted to just kind of clarify that I don't think all people in government are bad. Only some of them may not be so good, but there are many who are trying to turn this around now, and that's kind of tough, but it's doable with what Jesus says. We can do all things through Jesus Christ who strengthens us, right? Right. So I believe there are people that are stepping in now that haven't been there before, that are trying to do some good things here in America, but they've still got some bad apples in there for sure that have actually messed up America and so terribly.
Right.
So terribly. Even our financial picture. I went out of the country many years ago, and our dollar was like 8 to 1. And then I went out of the country maybe about a year or two ago, and they didn't even want to take the American dollar.
Right.
It was so low, and I was like, wait a minute, what happened? What happened to America? And this kind of woke me up of how we were being depleted.
Right.
Not only of our resources, but our value as a major force and entity here in the world.
Right.
So tell us more about how people can get involved in Salt and Light. What is the website and that kind of thing?
Well, before I do, I want to answer what you were talking about. You're talking about worldviews, two different worldviews. some people that are in government have what we call a secular worldview, which basically means they operate without God in their life.
Okay.
But America was founded as a nation
Yes, it was.
that was founded after God.
Yes.
And that's what we call a biblical worldview. So when we have people that get into office that have a secular worldview, then their mindset is different. They think that what they're doing is absolutely right, but what they're doing is they're tearing down the very foundations of our country. And that's why we have all the chaos that we're in. And particularly in the last few years, we've seen a marked reduction in America's influence on the world stage. However, it has turned around.
Yes.
And we
Good
have
news.
good news. The good news is that we have a president right now who is Trump evil in a way, because he has allowed the word of God to permeate through the government right now. And that's a good thing. How can that be a bad thing? And as a result of that, just a few days ago, actually, he had announced, this is historic, all the presidents of so far since 1980, when Jerusalem put the Jerusalem law into effect, that Jerusalem would be the capital. It was this president that his first promise in under a year that he would make the capital of Jerusalem, move our United States embassy to Jerusalem, and that happened a few days ago.
Yes.
This is a moment where the United States is about to get blessed hugely.
Yes.
And so we really need to take a look that there's a momentum shift in our culture right now, and it's exciting to be on the side of God.
Yes,
I don't
it
want to
is.
be on the other side.
No, I don't. I don't either. And I was just looking at my Bible. This is Proverbs 29, and it's 29, 25. And it says, fear and intimidation is a trap that holds you back. And a lot of people have been afraid here in America.
Right.
With what's been going on with the government. And the Lord doesn't want us to be afraid. He then says, but when you place your confidence in the Lord, you will be seated in the high place, high above our enemies.
Yes.
You know, and so that's where we need to learn and move and grow and be seated in those places, and in that confidence with who we are in Him and who He is with us.
Well, and on the and to be the devil's advocate, so to speak.
No, you're the angel's advocate. Go ahead.
When the angel's advocate,
Yes.
right. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked are in authority, the people groan. And what has happened is we've had a lot of wicked people who have been persecuting Christians. If you have noticed, in particularly the last 10 years, there's been a lot more persecution of Christians worldwide. And so now, so much so that there are many organizations that are stepping forward now to protect Christians in the Middle East particularly, but also we have Christian persecution right here in our own country.
Yes.
It's almost difficult to be a Christian and go out onto the streets and talk to people about God, and you know, they will persecute you, they will make you feel bad for being a Christian.
Why do you think that is? I mean, they're not, you know, we have to go ahead and, like, the government wants us to bow to other religions, and and then for us, you want to take away our amendment rights, and that's not fair. That's not fair. And so why do you think this is happening? What do you think is really going on behind the scenes?
It's a breakdown in our government. Basically, we have allowed the wicked to get into office and rewrite the laws. Now, we have the 10 Commandments, and we know what they are.
Yes.
But what they're doing is they're taking those 10 Commandments and rewriting it. And we've often heard them say, well, you can't legislate morality. Well, I'm sorry, but Commandment number 6 says do not murder, but we're legislating murder by the murdering of innocent children in the womb. And we've murdered over 50 million. So what's happened is God, in His leveling of society, is allowing immigration to come in to make up for the 50 million that are now have perished in America. So now what we have is foreign nationals coming to this country, and that's not a good thing because they're not assimilated to the American culture. They don't know our way of life. So what we have to do as Christians and believers and people who are bearing our heart before the Lord and saying that we want a country that is good and right and true, not unhealthy, not, well, in a way, Sharia law. We women don't want to be wearing burqas and running around without our legal rights anymore and not allowed to vote. There are all sorts of things that happen in third world countries that have not happened in the United States. We're the freest, most prosperous nation. We should all be proud of the country we've developed.
Yes,
And we don't want to lose that, and we can easily lose that if we don't pay attention and get involved and be salt and light.
Yes, that's a good statement. And what's different also is many who've come to America, they wanted to assimilate in America. But the many people who have come in recently from other nations in the Far East and things like that, many of them are not interested in assimilating with Americans. And there is a problem there because now they're trying to change the culture for us to assimilate with them, and that's not going to happen because there's too many. We love our country. We've given them the opportunity and the privilege. We've given them that. They didn't give us. And this is where we need to stand up and say, no, this is our country, and that we're going to stand for it and we're going to love it, and that all who do not want to assimilate, go back home. Just go back home. Now, I wanted to move on to what you were saying about you have a event that's coming up.
We do. We have an event called the Content of Character Series, and I'm very, very proud of this because this is a result of having the Salt and Light Council in churches all across America. There's been a deep need for the Black community to have a voice in America. And up to now, Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King said, you know, one day he looks forward that his children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content
of their character.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what we've done, and this only came through the fact that one of the pastors came to us and said, you know, we really need to talk about Black history, true Black history in America, because most people don't even understand that many Black Americans were our first Speaker of the House, senators, congressmen, all over the country, back in the 1800s. But what has happened is that history has not been taught in our public schools. People have no idea the important role of the Black community. They only think
many great things we've invented here in this country. Yes,
exactly.
Important things. Yes,
important things. And so this Black pastor and I, for 2 years, once a week, worked on Black history in America, setting the record straight. And we built an educational program. Then I met another pastor out of Texas who wanted to set the record straight also about how the Black community is being used as a pawn of the political establishment.
Okay, say that again.
The Black community.
Clarify it.
Okay.
Clarify it.
Well, I'm not going to give his talk because I'd love it if everybody would.
Give us the date. She's not going to give the talk, but you know what? On that's a good hook for you, all people to come down and see, because we need to know about one another and break down the division. Because this is what the enemy uses continuously. It's not a Black thing, it's not a white thing, it's a God thing. And that we need to know the truth so that we can come together in one mind and one spirit under one God and one nation, indivisible. Right? With liberty and justice for all of us. And these are some of the areas that you're working on, and I commend you for it. So what date and stuff is going to be?
It's June 23rd, which is a Saturday, and it's all day, and come ready to learn and get excited about what you're going to learn. And you brought up a really good point. This is about racial reconciliation as well. And the fact that we are all one race, one blood.
Yes.
You and I are one allele. Right.
Yeah, we're the human race. We're not the dogs or the cats. We don't have a tail.
Right.
And that, God wants us to learn to truly love one another. This is the bride that he's coming back for. He's not coming back for the bride of strife and arguments and hatred. He's coming back for the bride that's of love and that's kind and caring for one another, and that's who he's coming back for. So we might as well get rid of those things that are trying to get rid of us with our relationship with Christ, because that's the whole thing. The enemy wants you to have hatred and all this stuff, and because this isn't happening or that happened or this person got shot, and I'm not saying that's okay. Do not misunderstand me. What I'm saying is it's time to turn to one another in Christ Jesus and learn how to love correctly.
That's exactly right. And I think our events, the Content of Character Series events, accomplish that. And in fact, we talk about the content of the character of various subjects. So one of them speaks about how they're being used as political pawns. We're going to be talking about the elections as well, and how what you were talking about is really important. This is a strategy. They're bringing in foreign nationals into our country. They're displacing the black community because they're easily displaced, because they're easily used, and they're bringing these foreign nationals who are not loyal to America. But because the black community is loyal to America. So we talk about that. We're also going to be talking about comparing the party platforms, Democrats, Republicans, and how people of God should vote their values. And it just goes on and on. Black genocide, we're going to talk about Planned Parenthood. Everything you need to know, and then we're going to wrap it all up, how you can become an incredible entrepreneur.
Okay, well, we're running out of time. How much or what else? Is it free? Is it all free and everything to attend? Or
Well, it's $35 for all day, and that includes lunch and materials, so technically it is free.
Okay. And you can find that on our website. That would be at the bottom of our screen, which you can go online and register and that kind of thing.
You can.
Is that probably? And is there anything else that you'd like to share with us today before we close out?
Nothing other than just contentofcharacterseries.com. Please sign up there. And for those of you that go to church and want to be salt and light in your community, Salt and Light Council, COUNCIL.org. And you can get all the voting and election tools that you need for the primaries and general elections on our voting and election tools page. Everything you need to know for the entire country.
Now, this is something that I really feel God has inspired. And that's how we really received the name of the show, You Inspire Network. It's to inspire you to come up higher, to grow deeper in the things of God. So you go and can go and inspire others, inspire them with joy, with love, with peace, with righteousness, with the spirit of truth. And we need to know the truth, because the truth does what?
It sets you free.
So let's be free. Those who He set free are free indeed. And we love you. We thank you for allowing us to speak to you in your life. And we hope that we inspired you. But you go and inspire and set hearts afire with love, peace, and joy.